Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to a Blaze casting presentation bringing you guys a game from the DotaNoobs.com Anniversary Tournament. It's called Brawl in the Family, and it is this team name that I tried last time, the most amazing Dota 2 team that ever, versus Kiss My TARDIS, which is just obviously a slur of Doctor Who references, which a lot of people seem to enjoy as a show, but never really got into it, so whatever. Not a big deal, but we do have Exterminate, aka FallenElf, captaining up on the Dire here for KMT, and then of course we still, seeing as he did so last game, Shane going to be drafting up for the Radiant here for Most Amazing Dodo. So we do have Undying going to be banned out first, and that's just kind of standard stuff. They're going to take off things like Magnus, Darkseer, Batrider, Nyx Assassin, maybe even Keeper Light. Templar Assassin and Bounty Hunter used to be pretty common too, but it's really less about who they banned first and more about who they let through, who they enable to set up. Because there's a lot of great heroes with a lot of good team potential, and not even that overpowered in of themselves, but they're just so effective in building a team around them. If you build a team around a Magnus that's AoE-centric, you're going to get a lot of damage, you're going to get a huge amount of potential for that lineup there. Same with the Undying. If you go for an aggressive tri-lane, use Undying in that 3v3 setting, really potent. So those kinds of things they just take off the board because it's something they don't want to have to deal with. They want to play it a little bit more their way and their style and not be penned into a difficult circumstance. One of the examples of that is the Night Stalker pickup that came around last game. Completely decided the pace of the game. They got the Roshan, they got the momentum, they started playing in their own style. So pretty much that's kind of what they're looking to ban out here with the Undying with the Magnus, and I kind of take it carefully from there because right now the first pick is in the hands of the Radiant, which means they have to decide what are the second and thirds that they're going to let go right here. And so they're going to ban out the Batrider, but that does currently leave Darkseer on the board. If it is not banned out, they will pick it up. If it is, then whatever, they'll go for something else. But last time around, Kip Canope did play an amazing Darkseer as far as just really good vacuums and setting up a Sand King for great success there. So possibly it might be the strategy that they're looking into for this next draft up here. And with the Nyx Assassin ban, that's most likely what they're going to pick up here. Even though they did get 2 picks the last time around, if I recall correctly, not a big deal. They do get the Darkseer, so that's what they're going to go. Kip Canope played that on the offline last time around. I presume that's how they're going to draft it this time. Go for something like either a 3-1-1 or in what they kind of did was a 1-1-1 with 2 roamers. That's then inevitably set up shop in the safe lane there. But Keeper Light going to be picked up to kind of counteract that a little bit. And with Nyx Assassin banned out, that means there's no pesky Spike Carapace to have to worry about charging those Illuminates though. So you just choose the Vector. If it will land on them, you get some free damage. Otherwise, there's no direct consequence other than the loss of mana, which you can refresh quite rapidly there. The question is, do they want to go for a super crazy Phantom Lancer lane with the Chakra Magic infusing him, or are they going to be going for something else? The Rubik right now is a very versatile pickup. One thing that is really great for picking up the Rubik this early on is that you will be able to pen in the picks of the opposition. They won't be able to pick up really great ultimates, super powerful team fight mechanics without risking it being picked up by the opponent, by risking the spell steal. So even picking up a Faceless Void and getting the Chronosphere out, of course Faceless Void cannot be stopped by Rubik's Chronosphere, but at the same time it's still something that they could use it against you effectively, and therefore it's a difficult pick to go with. But right now, the Most Amazing Dodo has actually picked up very clear-cut lanes. Darkseer on the top, Invoker on the mid, and Faceless Void farming on the bottom here. Faceless Void is not an aggressive carry early on, so he's going to be playing in the defensive tri-lane, and that means he needs some good support. So, Kiss My TARDIS in this next round, since they already have 2 supports picked up, they're just going to ban the best supports possible. Possibly going like a Lich ban, because he goes so well with Faceless Void that he's not that great in a tri-lane, so it's debatable. But if they want to go like Lich, Faceless Void, and then a jungle support, like a Chen or Enchantress, that could be pretty good. Enigma too. But Enigma sucks against Rubik, so scratch that completely. Either way, that is just some really good options. They just need to go for some good support. So Jakiro, maybe a Disruptor, or Venno, or Sand King was pretty good last time around. Who knows? But presumably Shane's going to pick up the Invoker. I have seen him at a couple of their Sunday Spotlight things, casting those up. Invoker has been picked up by Shane and played so effectively on the mid lane there, and he was playing the mid lane last game. So yeah, that's going to be what he's going to be looking at. The question is how he wants to build it. If he wants to go for Quaz Wex and try to negate some of Keeper Light's benefits, Chakra Magic, by EMPing like crazy, like a Baus, I suppose, but he could also go for just a lot of physical potential. They need to get some setup if he wants to go for like a Quaz Exort build, building into Forward Spirits. Early on, the best thing for Invoker is to get a kill with a Sunstrike to boost his experience a little bit, and there's actually an unorthodox pickup coming out. The Doombringer coming from Kiss My TARDIS is gonna be what they draft up, and I don't know how they want to land that. Do they go for the jungle Doom build that kind of got popularized for like a week and a half, or do they want to go for putting him on a core lane and just trying to farm him up, maybe get a quick Midas on top of that Devour, and just turn him into a walking bar of items where he can get an Assault Cross, Heart, Radiance, those kinds of items really, really quickly. Or maybe even go for a bit more utility with the Necronomicon. The Necro minions now do benefit quite a bit from the Scorched Earth there, and I accidentally clicked that, and that's stupid, but yeah, get the benefit of the movement speed, of the healing over time, and that can set up a lot more DPS time for those Necrominions if that's what he wants to go for. So that could be pretty promising as well. But one way or another, they pick it up, and it's going to be really nice for negating a lot of what the enemy has been setting up for themselves. Invoker very reliant on casting spells. If he has 10 spells in his arsenal, 2 at a time, but if he doesn't get the opportunity to cast those, then obviously he's going to be negated, worthless throughout the entire fight, which Doom has a 15-second duration, so it's already really powerful. Another thing would be not only stopping Time Walk and Faceless Void's Chronosphere, I don't know why I keep clicking those, but just negating those, but also muting his passives will make sure that Doom can lock down the Faceless Void in the right scenario, so that could be very powerful as well. But the support bands is exactly what Kiss My TARDIS needs to be going for right now. Taking off the Jakiro, really good option there. Trying to think of what other options. I don't think they're going to go for like a Lion or anything. Even Lena and Leshrac need too much setup unless they get a good initiating support. So banning out all the initiating supports, banning out like a Venomancer, banning out and maybe a Shadow Demon. A Shadow Demon would be a great ban in this situation because I already have the illusions from the Wall of Replica and stacking those on top. Illusions on your illusions only wreaks more havoc and chaos in the team fight. So SD should be the next ban. And then from there they can pick a number of different heroes, maybe the Disruptor, maybe the Venomancer, Crystal Maiden even, whatever they want to do. But as far as most main Dodo, they can just ban out team fighting, utility off-lane heroes, like the Windrunner, possibly like the Tide Hunter, and kind of go from there. Tide would have, in this case, the Tide ban is for a core Tide, an off-lane Tide, something like that, because they know that the support roles are now picked up by Keeper Light and Rubate. That's pretty clear cut. I mean, Rubate can go in the mid lane, but just with that Doom, it would be very weird to try to get that all finagled there. One way or another, though, the Tide is banned off the pool, and so he's not going to be able to commit that Ravage, that teamfight ultimate, and try to supply pressure that way. Sweet tea, awesome stuff. But yeah, so for those of you guys that don't know, if you're tuning in recently, this is the DotaNoobs.com, their community of individuals that play together, have a TeamSpeak server, and just have a kind of a rage-free environment where you guys can build a community, interact with people, and learn some Dota, and try to improve as players in general, and that's what a lot of people take this as an opportunity to do. But this is just for fun, celebrating their anniversary there. They have built up, I think, 3 teams total, I'm not sure, maybe more than that for this one around. It was supposed to be more, but I don't know how many actually got set up. But one way or another, FallenElf, one of the administrative people for the website, is going to be captaining up on Kiss My TARDIS, and then Shane, just a very active community member, going to be the captain for Most Amazing Dota. So the Phantom Lancer ban is a little bit weird. I can't imagine why they were afraid of that, because they already have a Darkseer. If they Wall of Replica the Phantom Lancer, then they can just possibly juxtapose an army of their own. Along with that, I guess he's just, because of Keeper Light, Phantom Lancer synergy. I think they're just worried about him being too powerful with that Spirit Lance continuously being infused by that Chakra Magic and that kind of thing there. But whatever way it will work out there, they took those off the board. And also the initiating supports I was talking about, Sand King and Venomancer are good options there, but they did leave a Vengeful Spirit. I think Shadow Demon might have been a bit more appropriate, but like I said, that doesn't really, it's not going to be the end all be all one way or another. So Juggernaut's going to get picked up as their carry, and it allows them to change in things a little bit more so than I thought. They could go for an aggressive tri-lane up against the Faceless Void now with Juggernaut. It is a very promising hero that can just interact very effectively, and as long as he has a disabled, set him up. You put up the Telekinesis, you give that as an opportunity to Blade Fury on, spin down that Vengeful Spirit, destroy whatever other lane support is picked up, or even try to lock down the Faceless Void, especially when Doombringer's ultimate comes into play. But one way or another, they have also, on top of a lot of kill potential early in the lane, they also have a lot of potential to push. Putting up that healing ward, allowing them to keep those creeps flowing, and with the Keeper Lights Illuminates, just pushing down the creep waves and battering down the doors that way. I think they can put a lot of pressure on the tower and try to push this into a sense where they don't want to go late game against their Faceless Void. They want to go for early items on Doom, a lot of early GPM coming out of him, and they want to go for Juggernaut being able to help and contribute to tower pushes and try to get last hits on towers to try to get in momentum that way. As team fights, tower kills, that's what they're looking for, because there's 3 heroes on most main Dota that are really, really great in the late game. Faceless Void obviously is one of the anti-carries, considered one of the hardest carries in the game, because if the enemy carry builds a glass cannon build, then you can just corner them and kill them. Invoker has a lot of experience-based relevancy in the late game. You get him to level 24, he can still improve his spells just a little bit more if he hits level 25. So every little level up is going to improve the elements, the Quas Wax and Exhort that he utilizes to make those really, really cool plays happening. Along with that, Kip Nope on Darkseer is going to be able to scale pretty well in the opposite way of how the enemy team scales. The stronger your team is, when you walk through the wall of replica, then the illusions that you're going to be fighting are going to be that much more powerful and that much more dangerous. So I agree with these pickups. The Beastmaster adds a little bit of push too with the aura, and the board can tank up a few tower strikes, and some pushing with the axes if he has the mana to spare. But I think it's just a better pickup in the sense that it can lock down the Faceless Void really hardcore. You have the Doom, and that Doom would be great for Invoker. Now you have the Beastmaster Primal Roar to go on the Faceless Void. You ulti the Faceless Void, lock him down, get a kill on him despite backtrack, and then from there, what is he going to do? What are you going to be able to counteract that with? It's really not going to do too much for your team. And somebody, yeah, whatever, doing some things. The one thing I don't know about this setup here is the laning phase. So they're going to go for safe lane Doombringer, Beastmaster on the mid, and then Juggernaut, Keeper Light, and Rubik putting pressure on the bottom. I think that's what I would do, but you know, it's also a risky play putting 3 people in the bottom lane. Obviously, you extend yourself quite aggressively. And also, Doombringer versus Darkseer 1v1, I generally would favor the Darkseer, even though Doombringer has a large amount of HP, and he's more worried about physical damage than magical. It's still, Iron Shell is a pain in the neck to deal with from a melee standpoint in general. So that's just one thing you'll have to worry about in that position there. But I gotta say, his base damage is insane. Going up to 69 right-click damage without a single item. That's just, I mean, compare that to 66 on Darkseer. He has a lot of potential there. So that's just one thing to keep in mind. Obviously, there's plenty of potential for Darkseer as well, because he is an intellect-based hero with 29 friggin' base intellect. I mean, compare that to Ancient Apparition's 25. It's pretty awesome. Nevertheless, those are just a bunch of factors that kind of go on into it. But this Ancient Apparition pickup, I didn't really get a chance to mention. There's couple reasons why that's good. I mean, first of all, it's just a great hero in general, combining the Vengeful Spirit's Magic Missile, a little bit of slow from the Time Walk of Faceless Void with the Cold Feet and maybe a Cold Snap to make sure that you can get that big long duration stun on your opponent. It's anybody that's not magic immune, aka anybody but Juggernaut during Blade Fury or prior to it. But also the fact that there are some healing mechanics on the board. There is the Healing Ward coming out of Juggernaut. There is the Scorched Earth coming out of Doombringer. And those things are obviously harder and harder to deal with as the fight goes longer. As the longer the fight extends, the more they're going to have to deal with. But Darkseer is one of those heroes that, with the Wall of Replica, he needs a little bit more time to get his damage in. The Iron Shell and Wall of Replica are very, very gradual on that aspect. And it looks like Shane has played a lot of Invoker right here. Holy crap! Are you kidding me? He must, I mean, first of all, he must have stranged the heck out of those the second that he got them, but dang! 786 kills alone on Invoker, 905, 259 Sunstrike. Shoot, that is pretty crazy. I'm glad he mentioned that, because that is redonkulous. So, like I said, Invoker is Shane's hero, and that's exactly what he's going to be going for here. And they know that. They're going to be going, presumably mid lane, and Rubik going up against that there, with Doombringer in the jungle, and then just have Keeper Light and Juggernaut on the top lane. They don't have any disables, so if they go up against the Darkseer, they're not going to be able to shut him down at all. But the question is where he's going to be positioning himself. Soul Ring early on. He is heading in the direction of the jungle, but he doesn't have a stout shield, which will obviously negate some of his potential in that regard. So I don't know. We'll see how the lanes shape themselves out, but for the time being, yeah, it looks like it's going to be Jungle Doom. Look at all those salves just to try to make sure of it. It's pretty much a little bit RNG based. If he gets the Ice Ogre, if he gets the Wildkin, both those can help him out a ton. Otherwise, he just kind of has to man mode it up and contribute what he can to the jungle, but one way or another. So now we're looking at this nice little flanking position from the Radiant. They want to try to get first blood on Rubik in mid. Actually, they probably don't know if it's Rubik or Beastmaster, but one way or another, they are in a really good position to make things happen. Ultimus, Tenebrae, with the Cold Feet, with the Magic Missile. They won't have the Cold Snap right off the bat, but it should be enough. Let's see, the duration of the stun is only 1.45 at rank 1. The 2.5 delay is from Cold Feet. So the Cold Feet has to come out first, and then during that reactionary period of, oh shit, I'm Cold Feeted, what the hell, and then you see them, then you will fall back, and that's where the Magic Missile has to hit. Otherwise it's not going to work. But anyways, Captain Jack Harkness currently in a good position to not really fall for it, but the second that he comes out for the creep wave, I think they're going to try to make their move. He needs to be a little bit more over here for it to be more appropriate, but one way or another. Jungle Bringer, oh, they've warded him out. No easy camps, nothing to start him off there. He's going to head over here. Satyrs to spawn. Ogre, he does get the Ogre Magi, which of course will provide him that ice armor, which is one thing Doom lacks. But in the mid lane, there is that Magic Missile. They didn't get the Cold Feet to stun out. Unfortunately, he was able to walk out of range of that. Now the telekinesis comes up, and they get first blood in turn. Is he going to block him in the tower? He blocks him in the tower. One more right click. He does get 2 kills out of it. He does, of course, die, but nevertheless, Doombringer gets some free experience, and they get 2 kills on the board for themselves. Wow, really, really hilarious. The fact that he popped off his salve, Ancient Apparition popped off his salve, but the tower hit him once more, so that telekinesis set him up for that last right click there, and it was very beneficial. In the meantime, Invoker has picked up Exhort, so we have some good right click damage in the lane on top of the +5 stats that he's acquired. So compare 57 to the 56, he's kind of on par. He's not as good as he'd want to be, but you know, he'll work with it. Anyways, the Fade Bolt will negate some of that benefit there, but one way or another, we do see a 1v1 Faceless Void versus Beastmaster, and both of these guys will come out okay. Generally, Beastmaster will win the lane, but the fact is, Faceless Void won't be 100% shut down or anything like that. And he is going Time Lock right now, which, of course, allows him to make sure that if he is a little bit RNG lucky, if he does get a bash or two, he can actually force Beastmaster back a little bit until that Call of the Wild comes up rank 2, using the board to harass him and slow him and put him in a bad spot. And the flag, what is his flag? That is pimpin' right there. That is very pimpin'. Anywho, Darkseer, again, he is not going to get locked down too hard at all up against this lane here. The Juggernaut relies on the enemy being slowed with the Blade Fury, and Keeper Light doesn't have anything like that. He has the Mana Leak, which is great against Surge, but he's probably not going to skill it for some time. So they're either going to look to... They can't really push because the Darkseer has a lot of counter push with the Ion Shell, and they can't get kills because of the fact that I just described, they don't have disables, he has Surge, and just walk away from it. So until Doombringer gets some good levels, it's really not going to be any issue for Kip Canope to really do what he's doing. And I really wish I knew if I was pronouncing that right. It might be like Sip Canope, but whatever. Doom is going to, you know, do what he needs to do, devour up the Ogre when he gets up towards this camp up top to the north. And in the meantime, there is just going to be Farm Fest, really. On all parts, there's going to be a lot of gold. Everybody's just going to be focused on last hits too much. A lot of action starting out for that first blood attempt, but beyond that, you don't have to worry about too much. It's just nobody's going to die, nobody's going to have the kill potential that they're looking for early game, except for on the bottom with the flanking of the Vengeful Spirit and Ancient Apparition. But right now with those Doom Wards, he knows exactly what's going on in their position. He knows exactly when they come in to flank up this direction or right on through the jungle here. So Beastmaster will be able to evade that as best he can. And from there, it just comes down to rune control of Rubik, making sure that he picks those up, because Invoker's not going to really focus on that. Invoker doesn't generally go bottle early, he doesn't need it, as he's not spell spamming. He just uses a couple of spells occasionally to control the lane, and he's going for Exhort build, which provides more intellect, more mana to work with, more mana regeneration, so on and so forth. So, all in all, it's not going to be too much interesting going on. Maybe they could go for like a Sunstrike on top of the Cold Feet Magic Missile, and that could be pretty powerful up against the Beastmaster, but until those wards expire, it's going to be so difficult to gank him up without a Smoke of Deceit. In the end, though, Doom has picked up that Ice Armor. He has the Basilius as well, so his armor's sitting pretty high and dry. He's kind of realizing now, yeah, those are definitely warded. No creep's going to spawn through here, so that's obviously not what he wants, but there is some pinging coming in from green. He saw a little bit with the, actually he can't see much beyond this position here, but anyways, they go in for the dive, they get the Magic Missile, they get the Cold Feet, I'll go for the Sunstrike, but all of it's too late. There's not enough disable. Cold Snap finally comes out, but unfortunately it just doesn't all come into play at the right time. And yeah, Captain Jack Harkness pops off a regen rune, gonna go right back onto it, and in the meantime they were out of position, so yeah, not too much really coming out of that. A lot of rotation, a lot of commitment from those boards, but we see Ancient Apparitions only level 1, Vengeful Spirit only level 2, so both of them committing a lot of time, a lot of resources, and getting absolutely nothing out of it. So that's obviously going to give a huge advantage to KMT right off the bat. Kiss My TARDIS going to be over 750 as far as gold, and the same with experience. So that's pretty nice there. Up on top, Doombringer finally coming out to try to help on the lane, but really, like I said, he can't do too much. He doesn't have the disables, doesn't have a troll, warlord, trap, or anything like that, and so he's just going to go ahead and try to go for that Midas really quickly. And that Midas will, of course, help him out. Like I said, farm aggressively. He already gets quite a bit of gold from devouring creeps, and that'll be a short cooldown relatively quickly, so that's something to work with there. But I gotta say, Beastmaster, the one thing that sucks for the 9th Doctor here, obviously that's not his standard name, but has changed it up for this team is here. He usually likes to throw axes or use the board to stack up the creep camps, but there was this warded here, so because he didn't start off with sentry wards, he's not able to capitalize on the I guess resources, the income source that would be the ancient creeps. However, he is still allowed to be on the lane. There's not that much flanking because again he has his own wards of his own, so that is going to allow him to just go 1-to-1 up against the Faceless Void, and right now come out with 10 CS compared to Faceless Void's 27. Okay, I was looking for him down here, and he's actually doing extremely well right now. Elvaquin, he was playing the Lone Druid last game, and he did extremely well in farming up aggressively, and now he is carrying it very effectively with this Faceless Void. Has the Ring of Health. Not going to go for the Vanguard, just using the Stout Shield the lane, and then he's going to go most likely for a Battle Fury just to compete with this Doombringer so he can guarantee the late game, which they already have pretty well under their belt with the Darkseer Invoker, but we'll see. The Ion Shell does come out, harassing back the Juggernaut just a little bit, but it's not going to do too much in the end, as there's plenty of Ring of Health action on Juggernaut as well. So if Juggernaut goes for a Battle Fury build, I feel like they're going to lose a lot of their early game momentum. They have a great team that straight up at level 6, the Omnislash, the Roar, Spell Steal, and Doom's Doom, will be able to commit a lot. I mean, the Keeper Light doesn't really game change in much, he just adds in. Each little skill point helps out a bit, but the point I'm trying to make is that it doesn't, once the level 6 is out for KMT, they have a lot of momentum. They can put out a lot of pressure. They can do a lot of damage and try to push down some towers, kill a Faceless Void, gank up like that, and right now they're not building towards that. If that Ring of Health goes into a Battle Fury, he's just going to be resorting to farm quite a bit. He's going to relegate his activities to just CS across the map. We do see this smoke, by the way. Got to keep an eye on them. But right now, everybody's safe underneath the tower for the time being. They're looking for the Master, but the Magic Missile can be Blade Fury'd out, so it's one thing you just have to watch. But now the Blade Fury is on cooldown, and that could be a huge mistake right here, as they want to go in on this aggressively. Here, Magic Missile needs to start, though. The Cold Feet comes out, but the Magic Missile is not going to launch in time. Does get the Surge on the Magic Missile, but the Cold Feet's already gone. Does hit the Sunstrike, low HP. One last hit. No. Stout Shield will keep him alive just barely with that 20 damage block. Really, really fortunate there, post-mitigation block, and yeah, in the end, yeah, that's going to be his survival for the Juggernaut and barely for the Darkseer, as he has to fall back to Tango or possibly just restore from the fountain. But now the Master will gradually regenerate. He does have a salve, as I was going to point out, his HP regen with the Ring of Health, but that 46.7 seems to be much more temporary than that. But Rubik, controlling the runes as he needs to, gets the double damage rune and does kind of have that opportunity there. In the meantime, though, Beastmaster exhausting a lot of his mana resources, possibly just a last hit with axes, but what that means is that he's not going to be able to use his Primal Roar to try to single out the Faceless Void here. And, of course, Void doing really well at 38 CS is continuing to reign supreme as far as the carry aspect of things go. So right now, yeah, if looks like Juggernaut's going to go for maybe Phase Boots and then Battle Fury. Either way, once he gets the Battle Fury, once any carry gets a Battle Fury, they want to be able to farm up stacked creeps, whether ancients or neutrals, or just flash farm the creep wave. They want to be able to use that as a farming utility item rather than just a damage and restoration item. And if the Juggernaut picks that up, he's going to have to resort to a bit of farming, and I think that's like 5 to 10 minutes maybe, but then they need to start pushing. They need to start putting pressure on Faceless Void, because late game, Juggernaut does not compete with Faceless Void. And actually, if we look at the time lock coming through, we did see a TP coming in from Darkseer. The Ion Shell will go on the Faceless Void most likely. They're going to pop off the Chronosphere one way or another. Sunstrike will go down to the north. Yep, it's going to be able to land on him, and with that Ion Shell, one more right click is all they need, or the Ion Shell to take away gradually. It's barely going to get him. Just a little bit of movement speed. No, going to fall back. There was no surge from the Darkseer, unfortunately, so a little bit of, I don't know what Kip Nope was doing, but pretty much like he was standing there for about 4 seconds without Ion Shelling the Faceless Void. If Ion Shell had been going on the entire time that the Chronosphere had gone down, then it would have been a different story, but no, the Ion Shell took a really long time to come down, and for that reason they missed the kill, unfortunately, on the Beastmaster. He's going to fill up to full health and mana, has that Soul Ring to keep himself going out with a lot of action there, and he's going to TP aggressively down. He's not going to be able to get a kill on the Faceless Void now, because the health, effectively, of the Faceless Void is just too much. Picking up that Broadsword, all he needs now is the Claymore and, of course, the Void Stone. So that is going to be Faceless Void looking for just... He's got about half his Battle Fury, give or take. And that's pretty much what he's looking for, is just a lot of early game gold to flow under him. And as we look at Doom, he's jungling pretty effectively now with that Wildkin buff. He gets +3 armor from the Toughness Aura, as well as the opportunity if he stacks aggressively, which he has not, then he could farm them up with a tornado as well. So one way or another, he's just using his Devour and taking that as an opportunity to farm up very aggressively whenever he has the 40 mana available there. But anyways, it does look like that it should be his Midas coming out at 9 minutes, not too shabby whatsoever, getting that nice golden experience boost. So that'll be pretty helpful for them. But otherwise, nothing too crazy going on. So what we're looking at here, we do have the Juggernaut farming up pretty aggressively. He does put points in crits early rather than stats, so he won't have enough mana to do both the Omni Slash and Blade Fury outright. Right now being just 11 mana short of that, but nevertheless going to have a lot of potential on the lane to bring somebody down just with some good right clicks. He'll have to figure out what he's doing pretty quickly though. The Phase Boots, I already talked about Battle Fury slowing down his momentum as far as kills and push, but it does help him try to stay on par late game if he can keep farming. Though Darkseer has other plans in mind with that double Ion Shell. It forces you back so much. I mean, he's not going to be able to last hit as effectively under tower in general. So with that, you can definitely see the Faces of Void doing a lot better on this in the CS department. In the meantime, he is getting a lot of rotating supports, but I talked about this a little bit before. The experience per minute of Ancient Apparition and the Vengeful Spirit, it hasn't changed at all. They're still getting very minimal quantities. They're not stacking and pulling. They're not getting successful ganks off. So that, speaking of successful ganks, there is that Doom on that Surge Darkseer. He does have mana leak down, but he won't get stunned out by it. So I'm not sure if it's going to be enough. The Omni Slash just came up as far as mana goes, and now he's just going to go on into the trees, and he's completely caught out here. Going to get right click down, and Doom's going to actually take the kill for that one. So Doom has plenty of gold right now, can pick up some good boots or something like that. There will be a Sunstrike, and with the tower right clicks, it will bring him very, very low, but just barely able to survive it with a bit of stat shield and Ring of Health Fortuity. So they're doing the pull here. It is a single pull, so these neutrals will actually end up, or sorry, the lane creeps will actually start pushing aggressively, but that just means Beastmaster will be able to axe them down and get a little bit more experience for himself. DD popped on Rubik. Cold Snap stolen. That's pretty big. If they could get the Boar in on this, if they can summon the Call of the Wild rank 2 Boar, he can proc off a lot of Cold Snap very, very quickly, along with the axes, along with the right clicks themselves. So I'm expecting to see a kill right here, and here comes the opportunity. They both cross paths, and now the Magic Missile will come out as well as the Cold Feet. The axes will fly on out. There's no Cold Snap just yet, though. Does actually get Cold Feeted up, but is able to at least snatch the kill with the Fade Bolt. Now faces Void with that Chronosphere. Goes for the Time Walk. Now we'll go for the Chrono most likely, and with that he will probably get the kill right here. No, actually just go ahead and wait for Shane. Shane pops off that Cold Snap, and that's all they needed. So good rotation from the Invoker, saving off that ultimate cooldown so they can use it on a rainy day to keep the Faceless Void alive or get a kill on the Beastmaster one way or another. I'm not sure what's going on up here. Looks like nothing special. Phase Boots on the Doom. That'll keep him moving actively and proactively doing exactly what he needs on the lane, on taking down the creeps, etc., etc. But she's going to keep going jungle. He's just going to focus on what he's been doing, using the Scorcher with rank 3. He's not going to be focused on the level of death. It's a powerful nuke, but it's not situational. It's just, it's by definition situational, but it's a very particular ability that you have to get at the right timing. So, you know, even rank 1 can be pretty effective if you have it at the right level range and use it on targets that will be most affected by it. But one way or another. Where is his gold going? Claymore is up. Voidstone, all that required. So that's 800 gold away. Faces Void will have that Battle Fury. It's only at 12 minutes in right now. The Rune Spawn will be invisibility, and that gives Rubik more and more opportunity to just keep on flanking up. He has lost his Cold Snap, though. We'll have to actually steal one of the abilities dropped down by these supports. But man, Ancient Apparition doing so poor for levels right now. Has stacked up effectively. Have now looking for pulling at about 45, but Rubik just stalking up his Vengeful Spirit. As soon as she pulls, he can telekinesis her back into the creep. She'll take a lot of damage from the neutrals, and that will be really bad. So about 4 seconds, I'm expecting that that's going to be exactly what we see here. So quick pull from Tenebrae, real quick, and now go with the telekinesis. He could easily kill her with all those neutrals right-clicking down, but instead finds out this level 2 Ancient Apparition, decides that's what he wants to go for. It's probably the safest kill for sure, and with these axes, we'll be able to guarantee this. Steals the Cold Feet and gets one more right-click to finish the job here. Does get stunned out himself, but not too worried about that. In the meantime, Tenebrae does get this pull-off, denying a little bit of lane experience to the Beastmaster, but he did get to participate in that kill, setting him up to be at 0-0-2. So a couple assists on board for himself. He's going to get that Inner Beast up real quick. It looks like he's going to be rushing for the greater board prior to that, though. Does have power turrets, which allows him to, you know, spam out his axes a little bit more aggressively and that kind of thing. Now we do see Cold Snap, Telekinesis, Cold Feet. Probably should have put the Cold Feet up first, but not a big deal. And now actually puts out his Cold Snap, and he actually got the Cold Feet stun, so he could go dive on this. He possibly could have gotten that, but Darkseer coming on in. Obviously a better decision to fall back from that position there. Still, that was a good steal. Like, the only thing I would have changed there is putting off the Cold Feet earlier, so that he wasn't this far back when he got stunned out, he could have been in a much more aggressive position. On bottom lane, though, the Beastmaster is going to get completely locked down here. Popping off the Chrono, I don't know if they needed to do that, but they don't have any other cooldowns available, so he just wanted to guarantee that kill, guarantee the Void Stun you can acquire from the Secret Shop to finish off that Battle Fury, which he just got on the courier, Mr. Sheepy Sheep. So that's pretty cool. Sunstrike does go out somewhere, not sure, but if it was going to be on target, but one way or another. Just staying active very, very aggressively. The Invoker is allowing himself to keep damage going out across the map, whether on his lane opponent, the Rubik, his little nemesis there, or if he's going to make his presence known across in global fashion. One way or another, it's working out for them pretty well for the time being. And he does have that Force Staff, which allows him to be extremely mobile, extremely active, get in a good position, put down a good ice wall, maybe going for a Meteor Deafening Blast, and using the Force Staff to put himself in a position for that, one way or another.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Right now, rank 1 Illuminate on Keep It Alive. I kind of, although I understand that kind of mindset of the fact that it's, you can spam it out like crazy, like 150 mana cost, you immediately get that back just by casting 1 Chakra Magic. So with this being 17-second cooldown, every 17 seconds you can Illuminate rank 1. I can understand the mindset behind it, picking that up, but at the same time, Illuminate, getting that burst, and a team fight, if you can hit them with a full damage Illuminate, is going to be a much, much different story than doing gradual damage. So for harassment over time, I can see this 1-1-3 build, but in the middle of a team fight, you're going to be relying on the big damage coming on out. With the big disables you already have, with the telekinesis, with the roar, those kinds of things, you need to be able to get those big Illuminates off. So I can see both sides of the coin, but for harassment, it might be a better build, but for team fights, he's going to want something more than that. Needs to start ranking up his Illuminate with that in mind. Going to be picking up a Headrush, going for that Mechanism, which is, of course, the best supportive option for him right now. Battle Fury, of course, up on the Faceless Void. Let's check out the net worth right now on the Juggernaut. He only has that Ring of Health visible. He does have a lot of gold saved up, though, 2,100. So he has to make his decision. Is he going to go for a big aggressive item to just start actually team fighting actively, or like a Yasha? Or is he going to go for that Battle Fury and just relegate himself to farm? In the meantime, Rubik is going to be picking up either Blink Dagger or Force Staff of his own in relatively good timing, but he's still behind compared to Shane, sitting at 5k net worth. Shane is on the ball right now and has a lot of good elements to work with right now. One more in Claws will allow him to get 2 Forward Spirits, twice the benefit, I suppose you could say. And that's going to be really, really nice for them to be able to not only do a little bit of slow push on towers, but get a lot of damage through Cold Snap, through the armor penetration that they provide. Those kinds of things are going to be really nice. So he does have currently invoked the Meteor and the Sunstrike, so what he's kind of doing there is trying to set up where somebody else like roars for him, and if they get the roar off, then they can go for a Meteor, Sunstrike, Meteor, and then Deafening Blast combo. That can be pretty awesome. Down on bottom lane, I did actually miss a kill there. The Faceless Void did get locked down with a Beastmaster Roar and I believe a Doombringer ultimate, as well as Keeper Light, providing a little bit of the damage of his own. So all in all, they committed a lot to it, but it was a good kill to get at this point in time, because this is the time the Faceless Void is going to be going to maximize his GPM, and that's the time they need to start shutting him down. Sitting at 348 right now, that's staying on par with the Doombringer, who has a Midas, who has the Devour ability, which of course gives him 100 bonus gold every 40 seconds if he has the mana to support it. So that is something that you have to watch out for, and the fact that he's staying on point with the Midas before getting much benefit from his Battle Fury, like he's only just now gotten the Battle Fury, so it's not increased his GPM much, but now if he's staying on point now, I can just imagine once those stacks come on through, he already has the double stack right here, almost double stack, it's actually a hodgepodge of neutrals right here, a little bit of a mixer going on there, but not a big deal. Sunstrike has been stolen. That is a high damage, 350 pure damage one, that is like level 5 or something like that, but either way, I like the warding coming out from both sides generally, but the Dyers are a little bit more redundant, covering up the bottom room twice over. I guess one's going to expire while the other one was just recently placed, so not a big deal. But I think that the Radiant have a bit more diverse vision. If you look at their vision in general, F1, we are looking at the fact that they now have taken up area on the top rune. They have taken up a position for that vision over there on the bottom area, and they can just pretty much know what's going on the bottom lane if they can go aggressive and that kind of thing, or if they're getting flanked up by a Rubik. However, they did lose a little bit of map control in this tier 1 tower falling. Unfortunately, Kip Canope could not deny that, could not control it effectively enough, and for that reason, Juggernaut's going to take a nice little bit of bounty to the bank there. And I'm curious to see what he's going to go with. He has 34 saved up, so at this point he has to go for something. And Invoker does also get a deny on the mid lane, which is what they were looking for, trying to actually control their towers a little bit more effectively. So Faces Void, like I said, farming up in the jungle with that HP regeneration. He has 8.3 right now, which is just very, very powerful. And with this easy camp stacked up, lots of gold to be had. He just has to go find it, pretty much. Right now, sitting at 111 CS. He is moving up the GPM charts very, very rapidly, and he's going to try to keep keeping on. And now they are down a little bit in towers. One was denied, one was last hit, so they will have to kind of reclaim a little bit of map control and push for themselves, but it's hard to do that against a Keeper Light. Now that Illuminate is rank 3, as he has suddenly spontaneously acquired 2 levels of his own, and now just needs the recipe to acquire the mechanism, that is going to allow them to just, do a lot of counter push right here. The Axes, the Illuminate, and all these creeps will fall very, very rapidly. So they're not going to be able to push. They're just going to go for farming of them, Faceless Void, and going for that late game team fight that they can really, really benefit from. I think Shane should probably go for a Yules now. I mean, like I said, I was talking about a Primal Roar on his team, but that's obviously not the case, so that was a mistake. But no, I mean, with like a Magic Missile or Cold Feet, you can still set up the Sunstrike Meteor Deafening combo, but a Yules would be even better for that, I think. Especially since it also helps out Ancient Apparition. It would allow AA to go maybe for like a Mechanism if Vengeful Spirit isn't already working on that, which it doesn't look like she is. So if AA went for a Mechanism, then you could go for the Yules on the Invoker, put out on a Cold Feet, and kind of talk in TeamSpeak, coordinate that a little bit, and put up the Cold Feet, use the Yule Scepter, then put up the Sunstrike, Deafening Blast, Meteor combo, and not in that order. And that would, of course, be able to bring down the opposition really, really quickly, and as soon as that ends, they'd still be stunned, all in all, so it's really, really powerful. And that's something they could use very, very effectively. 2,400 gold on him, so they're going to be able to do something like that pretty soon. But they have the Sword Spirits smoked up for the time being, actually using them right now to push down the creep wave a little bit so they can flank up on the top lane. Looking to bring down this Juggernaut right here. He does have a TP scroll, but needs to use it very, very quickly. The question is, does he have any idea that he's getting ganked up? There's no wards that they pass by, so it's not a concern there, but they're actually looking for the Jungle Doombringer, which is actually in the mid lane. Picking up an Aghanim's, rushing that out. Man, does he have a lot of gold right now. But the Axe does give him decent potential with the fact that it does increase the damage per second as well as the duration, just a little bit there, but now the flank comes on in, that smoke has expired, and they're going in with that negative armor. Shane has that meteor and that cold snap, wants to do a lot of damage right here, counter pushing, oh, big damage on onto FallenElf. He's going to drop down really quickly with the cold feet and the magic missile on Doom. He's going to fall as well. Just a couple more right clicks will do it with that negative armor. Uphill does not miss. Now the kill will go down on Rubik, just a 4-staff and one more right click to get a triple kill on Shane, and that's really, really nice for them. Now 9th Doctor coming on in, looking for a roar maybe, just to shut down this very, very mobile Invoker, but the Boar Slow is all that he can provide in that sense. Get that bird. Yeah. But anyways, it looks like Beastmaster is going to be able to fall back if he can go around kind of a little bit of ring around the rosy. Actually going to hide in the trees for right now. That could be really good for him, could be really bad. He has to stay here until he gets the Hawk Vision, otherwise he has no idea if they're going to be able to find him, and it looks like, oh, so close. Did they see him? I'm not sure. Now they definitely did. And they're going to be able to bring him down now that they have him in their sights. He's going to try to head for the hills here, but with that Cold Snap, Magic Missile will come on out, and that is going to be definitely the death of the 9th Doctor right here. Going on into the 10th, because obviously not going to be, I don't know, I think the Doctor Who thing has like a different body iteration thing. I don't know if they have to die for it or whatever. I'm going to stop talking about that because I don't know it. But Face the Void, level 14, farming up very aggressively right here, 430 GPM, 147 last hits. He's doing very, very well, and that's the main reason that they have such a gold advantage coming right back up here. He's using the Battle Fury effectively. I mean, they got a couple kills out of that exchange there, so of course that helps quite a bit on the experience department as well as a bit of gold, but I gotta say it comes down a lot to how much your carry is just AFK farming and getting the opportunity to find plenty of creeps to mow down really, really quickly with that Battle Fury. So axing it up, and you can just see him getting plenty of last hits as a result of that. In the meantime, pressure continues up on the mid lane as they're going to be looking for cold snaps and other similar things. They find FallenElf out of position here, and they're going to be able to bring him down. The Blinding Light does come on through. The Sunstrike also will miss because he did take a second to just fall back for the time being, and it looks like the Juggernaut is going to be able to get an Omni Slash out to bring down the Ancient Apparition, but Invoker will inevitably be able to chase down with that Haste Rune and finish off the Keeper Light. Now, Juggernaut position right here. He did pop off his Omni Slash, got the kill on the AA, and he actually rushed for an Aghanim's, which I don't necessarily agree with whatsoever. I mean, it does put you in an immune state for longer so that you can't be chronosphered by the Face of Void for that long time period, but what's on Connell? Yeah, okay, so Keeper Light's invisible, whatever. But the fact is, you need some damage to back it up. Right now, he does only like 116 damage on average, and you get those auto attacks in between Omni Slashes occasionally, depending on your attack speed. So the fact that you got an Aghanim's, you do get more bounces, you do get more of those base slashes, and it's really nice that he got it this early. But the fact of the matter is, if you had more damage to back it up, if you had a Desolator, something like that, then you would be able to do that much more effective damage. So that's why I was talking Yasha for a bit more active aggression. I think it's better than a Battle Fury option, just getting the Ring of Health for a little bit of sustain on the lane. But one way or another, I think that Aghanim Scepter is a little bit... he jumped on the gun on it a little bit, because although he does, again, jump up to a rank 3 ultimate effectively with his Aghanims, it doesn't give him that much of a damage boost comparatively. It triples the duration, it does a bit of extra damage, but he could reinforce that with a bit of right-click damage on top of it. Other than that, we do see... as far as this team fight goes, we're probably going to be able to bring down Doom. I'm not sure what cooldowns Invoker has already used. I believe Cold Snap's on CD, but the big thing is the Magic Missile is not. So, popping off a rank 4 Wave of Terror that's -5 armor, and on top of that, every time the Melting Strike comes through from these little 4G spirits, going to be able to bring Doom down very, very quickly, especially since he only has 4 armor for the time being. And yeah, in my opinion, that's way too much already. He just got buffed way too hard, but just kidding. So these guys will be able to chomp on through him, and really, the Beastmaster has Roar in 6 seconds to help him out a bit, but I don't think it'll be enough, even with the phase boots. The Scorched Earth, though, is very fast, and he still has all his cooldowns available. Oh, he's talking about popping off a Ghost Walk before the Doom comes out. But I don't even think they need the Doom. That even if Invoker gets doomed up right here, it's not the end of the world, because he already cast all his disable spells. So the only thing he could drop down is an Ice Wall, possibly. And still loading up. So they're getting the Darkseer back in so that he can actually visualize his opponent, and therefore be able to fight them effectively here. But we do see that they are in a very out of position circumstance here, with the flank coming in from the Beastmaster, from the 2 coming in from the southeast. They've overextended themselves in the enemy jungle, and the only reinforcements they have is the Darkseer. They need to get this mechanism off and possibly a good vacuum wall, and now the Doom comes out on Shane, so unfortunately he will not be able to cast any spells off. Tenebrae will be able to fall back for the time being. They can still dish out a lot of damage, but with that Roar, it looks like Shane will definitely fall. So now Darkseer looking for a wall, looking for a vacuum, pops it off, and can put them back. He does throw them on through, but it was a steal. Rubik did pick off the wall, and although he might not be able to use it in this situation, with the Blink Dagger, he just goes and gets the Telekinesis off long range, and now he has that to just store up for the next team fight. So yeah, Doombringer did fall. Like I said, there was just too much damage over time. The Forge Spirits chunking away at his armor there, but all just saying that was a lot of good disables, good transition from KMT to be able to bring down their opponents.
Bottom tower is under
In the meantime, Ancient Apparition just now level 6, so he doesn't really have too much to work with here. A little bit counter push with the Ice Blast and a nice little circle here would be convenient for what they're looking for, but other than that, Ultimus really doesn't have all that much he can contribute. And with this Blink Dagger initiation from Rubik, they actually might be able to bring him down. Of course, with the Wall of Replica being the only spell they've stolen, yeah, they can't really do too much beyond that, I guess. But they can still continue pushing on the tower. In the meantime, Faceless Void has been farming up, pushing up, has gotten the tier 2 tower for himself, so it's kind of an even exchange, even if they take the tier 2 in mid, 1 for 1 in that circumstance there. And now he has his Maelstrom, allowing him to combat just that much more actively. I love that much more than a Mask of Madness, and now he's going to go for possibly a Time Walk to get a right-click on Captain Jark Harness, but he's just too afraid of getting locked down here, so he's going to go defensively, which is a good move. I mean, you'll hard carry, you don't want to die, and even if the kill is tempting, it's not the best option in all circumstances there. Oh, freaking Pyrion. Awesome. Indeed, indeed. Yeah, I guess if you're rooting for Doobs, you really, every kill on the board is a win for you, because 10 to 10, 20 kills on the board for Doobs. DotaNoobs being an awesome community that I'm glad I'm able to cast a couple games for, but one way or another. Dude, this is the best of 3. I should get Pyrion for the next couple. That would be awesome. So, Pyrion, obviously you're listening, so if you want to jump on this, totally fine with it. Don't want to solo cast all this stuff. So, that could be awesome. Anyways, in the meantime, I guess that might be a cloak coming out from Wrench Spirit into a pipe later, or she just wants the magic damage mitigation from the Blade Fury, Illuminate, Fade Bolt, Roar, Doom, that kind of stuff. A lot of magic damage, even though it's not really like a burst magic team. You don't have a Queen of Pain out there. It's not a Sand King. It's just, you know, a lot of good magic damage spells, but the Blink Telekinesis, Invoker is going to get a lot of damage coming forth, but all these creeps are going to take a lot of damage into that Omni Slash, and it's not going to be a really big deal. The Master spinning on out of there, and both of them just trying to draw on the line, falling back from that position there. Interesting uses of the Dust really actively. I guess they thought there might be a Ghost Walk coming out, but really, kind of you should use that responsively more so than just jumping on in it. Anyways, in the meantime, Faceless Void farming, 181 creep kills, Maelstrom, Battle Fury, the whole shebang. Now topping out over the Doombringer, who again has had that Midas and Devour all game long. So although Doombringer will probably pick up like an Assault AC coming up next, the fact of the matter is, Faceless Void will get some big items of his own, and I'm glad that he didn't go for the Mask Madness, like I said, because that allows him to just get the benefit from the attack speed without making himself more vulnerable than he needs to be. So that means that he can go in, go in the Chronosphere, pop off that Mjolnir, and just go to town on whoever he wants. But in the meantime, there is a little bit of an exchange going on through. The Wall of Replica does pop off, but swapping back in the Rubik, he will take a fall. The Master down a pretty bad spot with both spells on cooldown. The Meatball completely missing up, though, and there's not going to be too much going on as a result of that. So yeah, a lot of these engagements, they just kind of go in, think that they can get a kill out of it, but unfortunately they don't have the lockdown, and when they realize that, they both fall back. So a lot of these supposed big action, big plays type stuff is not coming through. A nice little force stab, dodging out the axes, but I don't know if it'll set him up in the right position. The roar comes out. He's not underneath tower though. Chronosphere on 2. Beautiful Chrono, and Levaquin or whatever is going to be able to take a double kill out of this. So really nice action there, and actually could look for the Doombringer. He does have a surge going for one bash. Just there he goes. He gets the Cold Feet or Cold Feet and the Cold Snap to make sure he can get that triple kill locked down. And that is now Faceless Void with a full Mjolnir with 1,400 gold. Getting the last hit on the tower will allow him to move right towards his next item, possibly a BKB. If not, no big deal. But yeah, he has a lot of damage that he can just output really quickly. A crit would actually be pretty good in my mind, because again, there's not that much disable. The Primal Roar you can't BKB out of, so you just kind of have to live and let die for that one. But the Alacrity coming on out, how much Wex is on this Invoker right now? I didn't think very much. So yeah, 1 Wex, max Exalt. So mostly just getting attack damage from this buff, but I mean, indeed, it is a lot of AD. Looking at 300 attack damage with each right click there, and he already has an attack speed of 0.61 per this rapidly, so it's going to be a big deal just chomping on through this guy. And they don't reduce the armor of the Roshan with the Forged Spirits, but they're still going to bring it down in very, very quick time, and giving an HC Immortal to the Faceless Void as well as the last hit there. So he is jumping up, skyrocketing through a net worth, and Shane, of course, doing a great job in his Invoker. Now has the Aghanim Scepter, so right now it's a 4-second cooldown. We'll go down to a 2-second in just one level, and when that's happening, although I do want to keep my spotlight on Faceless Void and his big Chronospheres, I'm going to try to keep my focus on Shane. As you can just see those mad invokes going on through. You can just cast every spell in the book at this point very, very rapidly throughout the team fight. So he does not have that Eul's, he doesn't really have the setup there, but just doing a good Meteor Deafening Blast could be effective. Invisibility versus this Beastmaster might be able to stalk him up and bring him down. Has the Force Spirits, has Alacrity, could follow up with the Cold Snap, but he has to watch out because Captain Jack Harness is right nearby as well. Yellow coming on, Darkseer wants to get a part of this, and if they go 2v2, I think that out of the element of surprise, Shane has a lot of potential here. Going for the Cold Snap and possibly the Alacrity on self, gets the Telekinesis up though, needs to force stab forward, just gonna not overextend to that position there. The Keeper Light coming on in, that mechanism on cooldown for some reason, they're just not going to want to have to deal with that. But interestingly enough, Doombringer picking up a Shadow Blade, I kind of have to disagree with that one. Like I said, Assault Kuros could add a lot to their team fight, add a lot to his presence in general, but you know, what's a Shadow Blade do? Give him some attack speed and damage, allow him to get one quick right-click auto attack if it crits with the Wolf. That's nice damage, but beyond that, So, anyways, that is going to be Juggernaut farming up Perseverance, and we'll have to see from there if he's going to go for the Battle Fury super late game and just kind of use it for a little bit of a counter push mechanism rather than a farming tool, or if he could go for like a Lincoln's. I mean, the fact of the matter is he is up against some really, really good single target disables, and Lincoln's isn't the worst ability. It just doesn't give him that much damage. It's very, very defensive.
Radiant's middle tower has been denied. Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Sorry about that. So, what we're looking at here, going up towards the top, then it's going to be everything going on here. Shane going for some good aggression. Force Staff, Mythic Staff up, looking for that Scythe of Vice very, very rapidly. As far as item set goes, we do have, it looks like that Hood of Defiance, and later on Pipe will be coming out for the Vengeful Spirit. Otherwise, nothing crazy. Still pretty much sitting at status quo. Rubik wants to kind of go for that Dendy build, going for the Blink Dagger, going for the Force Staff. That kind of thing could be a lot of fun with that rapid movement there, but he needs to get the good spell seals off. Right now, Time Walk gives him more mobility, but he needs a little bit more utility in my mindset. Get a Chronosphere, get maybe one of Invoker's spells like a Meteor could be very powerful. The Darkseer, his Vacuum, or his Wall, or even the Ice Blast from the Ancient Apparition. Any of those spells could be exactly what he needs. So he definitely needs to add a little bit more to the lineup. And with this Omnislash coming out, there is going to be the Ghost Walk, no dust coming on through. So now the Master in a pretty bad spot. Is there going to be a successful slow, though? It's just going to be Axes and Illuminate to do a lot of damage to Ultimus, and he's going to have to fall back there. So really no gigantic push. They have a nice aggressive ward, a defensive ward right here, so they can cover up if they're going to be flanking in from the south and respond appropriately. And that's going to be what they need to do, is have that good vision, have that good understanding if they're going to stay in this game and not get flanked up and drop down. But they also have to keep up the aggression. Doombringer on bottom has taken down the tier 2 tower to 1, but Shane jumping in with that force staff, dropping down the meteor, gets roared up. There's going to be a lot of damage following up through. Will he be able to survive with that mechanism? Gets swapped out for the time being. Wall of Replica and the vacuum on Darkseer, so a lot of damage coming out, but the Deafening Blast does miss. So vacuum on the cliff, everybody's stuck up there. They do have one force staff available, but it is on cooldown for 3 seconds, so he has to decide who gets to leave. Vengeful Spirit, unfortunately, along with the Ancient Apparition, stuck in that position there. So that is a little unorthodox. And they do have vision in that spot, so not really too much more to say about that, but it looks like Shane has gotten doomed up, and a little bit more damage, all they need to bring him down, but the axes won't pursue. Instead, on the top of the cliff, the Ancient Apparition, Magic Missile, and the Cold Feet enough to lock down the Doombringer now, and a little bit of damage coming out of these Fort Spirits. The Keeper Light just charging up and underestimating how much darn damage these things can do, poking away that armor, dropping them down to negative values on the Beastmaster now, and it looks like Darkseer is going to be able to bring him down with no trouble at all, just a couple right clicks away, and yeah. Or the Fort Spirits might do it. Yeah, Vacuum will finish it off, and Chain gets a triple kill, mostly from the Fort Spirits there. Now they do swap up the Juggernaut, and with his time walk up, it's going to be a little bit of duel on the cliff, which results in Faceless Void becoming the king of the hill right here, as the Juggernaut takes a fall only after finishing off the Ancient Apparition. So, pretty silly stuff there, and Tier 2 will be most likely drop down directly after that. So he does go for the crit, kind of go for the Glass Cannon, but not nearly as much as he would with a Mask of Madness. So, cool, awesome. Fury and Flax is going to be joining me for the next game here. I don't know if it'll be 2 more games or just the one, depending on how these best of 3 matchups go on through, but right now I definitely think MAD, which is super awesome at Dota, I keep on forgetting their name, but it's because it's a really silly name. Anyways, so other than that, we'll do a point booster on the Darkseer. He's going to go for the Aghanims. It'll be really nice when he gets that, because there is a decent amount of strength on the Doom. He has a strength gain of actually 3.2, so that's a good amount of right-click damage. Along with that, the fact that the Juggernaut has Item Scepter, there's quite a few stats on that as well. So good stuff to steal, and Doombringer also has an aura. I believe the Illusion of the Doombringer will have that same thing. The Wolf Pack Leader's aura, which is really nice. And Inner Beast, I forgot about that one too. So Inner Beast is another aura that you'll acquire, and you know, you have kind of an aura cleave going if you have the Vengeful Spirit's Vengeance aura on top of the Doombringer's one, so that can be pretty powerful there. In the meantime, they're going to be looking with Roshan down for another 4 minutes at least. They're just going to be trying to draw the line, make sure that they can keep the enemy penned in the base. They do have a nice Dire Ward to defend themselves in that position there, but they're kind of penned into that top right corner of the map, just farming on the lanes, otherwise they're worried about getting picked off right here. But now the Invisibility Rune, the Chronosphere on 2, nice Sunstrike, it won't clip the bear, I don't think, and he will be able to ring down the Beastmaster. They're looking for Juggernaut, he tries to go for the Omni Slash, doesn't get in time though. Finally going for a big damage on the Demon Edge, but it feels like a little bit too little too late, and unfortunately that means that when he gets back up, he will be able to put out a lot of damage to that Omni Slash, but in the meantime, this Faceless Void just so very farmed. Doing with that Daedalus up Mjolnir, he does so much damage so rapidly, and of course Alacrity is going to be invoked to helping him keeping on with that damage, and so they're going to push up on this tower here. So again, I'll keep my eye on Shane. Let's see what he invokes there. Burning down the bird with that nice Deafening Blast. Not really necessary, but you know, why the heck not? So they're going for the tower, gradual push. The Illuminate rank 4 will come on through, and it was most likely, was that a Chronosphere steal? No, just a Time Walk, So Captain Jack Harkness really wants to go in aggressively right here, and wants to get a good position on it, but without that Chrono, with just a Time Walk, he can blink 3 times over, and that's about it. Doom, again, will try to counteract the Invoker. Presumably he's going to go for a Linken's after his Scythe, but for the time being, just finish up that Scythe of Ice will allow him to, you know, turn Doom into a Piglet, try to roast him up there, but in the meantime, they're trying to push up against the Tier 3s, up against the Keeper of Light, and that's generally a very, very dangerous thing that takes a long, long time to get on through, because just, of course, the Illuminate burning down the entire creep wave and the siege creeps along with it, you're going to have a very slow time pushing up these cliffs. So they're getting some damage on the tower, it won't be regenerated or anything, but nevertheless, it's kind of ridiculous how much they're committing to this when they could just be farming up the wave. Specifically, I think Faceless Void should be down here farming away, trying to get the CS that he can so that they can worry about it later, but I guess they just know they have the advantage and they want to try to capitalize on it, find an opening for a big Chronosphere as it is off cooldown, and try to get just 2 or 3 people in. But that pesky bird, making sure they don't really have the opening because they have the vision. And if you just look at Dire's vision right here, it's all about that bird roaming around just a little bit. It will scout out where the opposition is and, you know, act accordingly, I suppose. Meantime, Vengeful Spirit will have pipe coming out, so that's really, really nice. So they'll be able to push up against the Keeper of Lights, Illuminate with that, and that's going to be really, really important for them moving forward. Okay, Bird is dead. This is their time. Popping off the pipe. Only lasts 8 seconds. They have to go now. The Illuminate can start charging in just a moment and we'll be alright. So, Illuminate, now that the pipe has expired, the Illuminate will do a lot of damage, but this Tier 3 tower will fall beforehand. Faceless Void with that Alacrity. So much, but what? 8 HP on that fortification. And in the end, Invoker will destroy it with the Forward Spirits. So now the Ice Blast comes on through, trying to do some damage to FallenElf himself, but beyond that, not too much. So yeah, again, there's just going to be more farming from the Faceless Void, looking for big items. Right now sitting again, moving towards his 20k net worth, and that's going to be a big breaking point where he can just dish out everything. If he wants to save for buyback, that's cool, but otherwise he could go for a ton of different items. He could go for the MKB, a Butterfly. If he wanted to go tanky, he could go like a Heart or something, but Butterfly I think is all he would really need. So that's what I would go, is for the plus agility type thing, but not a big deal. So, just continuing farm while the enemy is penned in the base. They don't have really any routes to farm. They still have every single lane creep that comes their way, and they're going to farm that up as aggressively as possible, but really, they're cut off. The goal is just going to continue spiraling out of control, and 10k plus, yeah, it's going to be a very uphill climb if they're going to try to overcome this deficit. Now that Roshan is spawning with that Alacrity up, they're going to be able to get the Aegis once again, and I'm not sure if there's a Cheese Roche. I've seen him drop at least once, I think twice. So we'll have, no, I think it's just once, so this shouldn't be a Cheese Roast just yet, but one way or another they have the Alacrity. They're just waiting on the timing. I guess they underestimated how long it would take to spawn, but they'll probably walk away and he'll be right back. Nope, here he is, ready to go, and he does not have cheese just yet, so second roast time, that's fine. They're going to be able to get this, and you put it on the Faceless Void. If they get the Aegis on the Faceless Void, they're going to be able to easily push up the base. They have everything they need right now. Presumably he'll probably sell like the TP scroll if they don't feel pressured, and pick up like the bonus agility item with it. So going for the Eagle Song, I believe, yeah. That would be what he's looking for. But in the meantime, they are just going to push hardcore up this mid lane. They have the double damage. Look, with this Vengeance Aura, if he had Alacrity, it would be through the rear. There we go. Holy crap. That is 566 damage on average. I mean, that's like having a Divine Rapier on that Faceless Void, and he can crit with that too, as well as cleave. So this is going to get sick. They could just pop off the pipe and easily take these racks. If KMT tries to contest, Chrono, 2-shot, 3-shot. I mean, it's just going to be stupid. The Shadow Blade does come out from Doom, so he will be able to get in a good position to try to get that ultimate off on Shane, who is just going to be spamming out those spells. But I'm surprised that the Faceless Void isn't in an aggressive position right here. I know the Roar rank 2 is pretty painful, but he has that Aegis. Worst case scenario, they pop off all the cooldowns on him, he comes back up and just goes crazy, wrecking face at that point in time. So he's picking up, he's going to go for that Rapier. He has a Sacred Relic, there's no other reason for it. So he is going to be going for big damage right here. And that is going to make this game very interesting if they're able to bring him down. But for the time being, he's just so darn beefy with level 21, and oh my gosh, that damage. There's the Alacrity I've been looking for all game long, and they're just going to hammer down these racks really quickly. Mana Leak, not going to do too much there, especially I think it's only like rank 1, yeah. Not going to do too much, so Levaquin will fall back for the time being, playing a very conservative carry role, but taking down the racks, and that's what they're looking for. Now they can go for a push on the tier 1 top. There is still that nice ward on the plateau that has been refreshed multiple times over, but other than that, they're doing a lot of good work here and doing a lot of damage. The Invoker himself, getting that big intellect item, the Sheep Stick, is going to be setting him up for a lot of good right-click damage himself, especially when all 3 Exhort Orbs are active. But it looks like Doombringer was looking for a back door, going all the way down. He does have Boost of Travel, so he's going to try to Boost of Travels to either the Beastmaster's Hawk or just to the Creep Wave itself and put some damage on the tower and Shadow Blade away. So he's playing the, you know, the not very commonly seen Nature's Prophet Doombringer, but, you know, whatever. Interesting stuff, and you know, not too much going on. There it is. That's what I've been looking for. That is a Divine Rapier on Levaquin, and that is going to be pretty awesome. So right now he does so much damage. He can do 600 damage per strike. That's without a crit, which is a 2.4x coefficient, 240%. And of course that's without Alacrity, which will add in 80 damage and 40% attack speed right now, and Wex will only go higher. So that's going to put him in a position that if they don't have Roar, Telekinesis, or, I mean, Doom won't even help, honestly. If they don't have Roar or Telekinesis off on him and they're not force-staffing out the people that he's targeting down, they are just going to get literally 3-shot. There's no doubt about that. I mean, he just does too much damage. In some cases, 2-shot, I believe. It depends on the armor values. He doesn't have the AC yet, but... you know, one way or another. The Ice Blast will start things off. There is the Alacrity, there is the Iron Chill. Where's the Pipe on the Vengeful Spirit? A little bit behind, and now Doombringer is doing that split push on bottom. Ice Blast is going to miss completely, but it doesn't really matter. Here comes the Chronosphere. Alacrity has expired, but Telekinesis goes on through. The Chrono will be picked up and put on everybody else. It's Faceless Void up against the world right now. The Ghost Scepter comes out as well as the Omni Slash. Everybody's immune. He can't find the kill he's looking for. Instead, he's going to drop down and have to pop off the Aegis to come back in and do this aggressively here. Nice little swap, pulling Captain Jack Harness out. He does actually force-step away, but going to get one hit by Face of Blood right there for his double kill. Going for the tower, now looking for the racks. There is that split push continuing. The racks are falling here, but just nice play coming out of the top. I mean, obviously 4 people pushing faster than one. Shane going for that Piglet action. Doesn't have the Cold Snap though to follow it up, so has to get that Ice Wall. If he forced that forward and put an Ice Wall here, they might have been able to get something out of it, but wanted to focus on the racks and fall back to that position. Now moving on to the tier 4s, and just so much right-click damage. It's stupid how much he's farmed at this point with that Alacrity to help him out, and a nice little Pipe of Insight to make sure even the little Forward Spirits can keep their push going. So, the tower will fall, and soon the Ancient. I think that's going to be a good game. I mean, Doombringer's doing what he can, but it's Doom, man. It's not. He's not a Divine Rapier Faceless Void, to his misfortune. And that is a good game well played. Awesome, awesome stuff. So that was a pretty interesting game. It took a while to get it to its climax there, but we finally got to that position where he was able to use his farm, take out the Divine Rapier, and do exactly what he wanted to do. So that was an awesome, awesome game. And we'll go on to the next one. This was a best of 3, so that's pretty much what we're looking at there. Is that we're going to see both teams going up against one another. This is the first game of that best of 3, so right now it's MAD to TTE taking out the first win of this best of 3 for the anniversary tournament of DotaNoobs. So seeing the best 5 teams in DotaNoobs, with Shane leading the pack with that Invoker, and of course Levaquin doing so well with that Divine Rapier. And hopefully I'm casting everybody's names correctly. If I'm not, hopefully they'll correct me. But in the meantime, we'll go on to the next game in just a minute, and I'm going to have Pyrion Flax on, so that's going to be hilarious. I actually haven't casted with him, just talked to him a couple times, but cool, that's going to be fun. I'll get a drink, and we'll have the next game in a minute.